It's an incident that has shocked the country. The story of a Class 2 pupil in the central region town of Kaswa who's now struggling to walk after allegedly being sexually assaulted by her teacher. The teacher is said to have inserted his fingers into her vagina when he lured her into another classroom under the guise of giving her extra lessons. During the sexual abuse, however, the victim is said to have fallen off from the table as she tried to flee and is now unable to walk. JoyNews' Maxwell Agbagba has been following the story and our report.
I am at the Kaswa residence of the Class 2 pupil. Family members are seated discussing their next line of action. Very close to them is the victim seated in a plastic chair covered with a cloth. There is a pillow supporting her back with her two legs resting on a kitchen stool. As she stretches in the chair, tears begin to flow. She is in pain. The 9-year-old girl says on the day she reported late to vacation classes, her class teacher offered to teach her what she had missed, but ended up inserting his fingers in her genitals.
Na madam fubaku na mi se on chem. Yes, I see on me. On my name chem. Intimate mature. Na oba chem. I didn't say befi family to me say. Me papa said them baby a man. Intimate fin mature. And I family got to madam bini table no so didn't say na I am a yanti me play me say me jan. Ti me ya sana me play me wona me. Me sisi ko bo e kunya ba ko na ntofu. Na mi sole na mi ni na ni dwane be. Na mi so say me ka man.
Mother of the victim says her daughter complained of headache some weeks ago, but was scared to tell her about the assault. She later confided in another family member.
She complained of headaches some weeks ago and later talked about pains in her legs. I asked her if she had fought with anyone. We later took her to the hospital, where the doctor told me she had been sexually abused. She later narrated her ordeal to one of my relatives. The suspect's wife has been pleading with me to resolve the issue at home, and she even promised to cater for her, but we disagreed.
The victim's grandfather says the suspect confessed to the crime and later gave them 50 Ghana cedis to cater for the girl, but denied the allegation when they reported the matter to the police.
He told me that, I know the accused very well, and then the wife. He told me that he begged me I should forgive him. I should forgive him. He doesn't know what exactly happened to him before he did that to the kid. I said, what? So then I told the CID that to close the docket with immediate effect. That's what I just said to the CID.
Well,
close
the CID did that before he...
Yes.
The CID...
Yes.
So the CID was there when he was...
Yes. Including the wife and then another relative.
We moved to the home of the suspect to hear his side of the story, but were informed he was not around. I called the suspect's wife, who was with him at the time. After introducing myself, we requested to meet them. The suspect's wife told us she cannot give us directions to their location. When I suggested we hear the suspect's side of the story via the phone, she dropped the call and did not answer the subsequent ones. Our checks at the Kaswa office of the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit revealed they have taken up the matter. However, the investigator working on the case said she cannot provide us with details. She referred us to her superior, who we were told was at a training program in Accra. Our calls and text messages to her remain unanswered. Some Extracts of medical documents seen by JoyNews stated, quote, patient presented with inability to walk after her teacher allegedly inserted his finger in vagina. Medical examination showed a partially perforated hymen with no tears or lacerations, unquote. According to the statement, the patient is still unable to walk despite pain medication, and she has been treated for pelvic fracture, urinary tract infections. Family members of the girl are now racing against time to raise money for the 9-year-old girl to undergo treatment at the Winneba Hospital, where she has been referred.
My colleague Maxwell Agbagba, who's been following the story, now joins me in the studio with more. Good afternoon to you, Maxwell.
Good afternoon.
What's the status of this girl? We know DOFSO is handling the matter.
Exactly. What we're learning this afternoon is that the case has been adjourned to September 12th, and that's next week. That means next week. And as it stands right now, the 9-year-old girl, she's still at home because when we interacted with the parents, they said that they do not have the financial, muscle. They don't have the resources to take her to the hospital. So although they were referred from the Kaswa Polyclinic to the Winneba Hospital on the 20th of August, to date, they've still not been able to go to the hospital because they do not have the money to visit the health facility. In fact, I spoke to the mother just this afternoon, and she said that's the reason why they're still at home. Aisha.
Wow, that's very interesting. But the girl's family also made mention that they've been under pressure, a lot of pressure from the suspect to actually settle the matter from home. What details do you have on this?
Exactly. We were told that on countless occasions, family members of the suspect actually moved to the house of the victim, all in a bid to get them to resolve the matter amicably at home. In fact, we are told that the suspect himself confessed to the crime. But when the matter was later reported to the Kaswa police, then he changed that confession and started denying the allegation. We are told that after the incident happened, the headmaster of the school where the incident happened has been to the home of the victim once, and when he went there, he actually gave them 50 Ghana cedis to cater for the girl, and that was the last time she was going to be at the victim's home. The suspect himself also, when he was released on bail, he visited the victim's home and also presented an amount of 50 Ghana cedis to be used to cater for the girl. We are told that the suspect's wife on numerous occasions have also been to the home of the victim, trying to get the family to resolve this matter at home. But they have disagreed and still want to pursue the matter in court.
So have you been able to personally speak with the headmaster where this incident happened, and what has he been telling you?
Well, yesterday we visited the school. As it stands now, school is on vacation. We actually went to the classroom where the incident allegedly took place. It's one big classroom that has been partitioned into 2 different classrooms, and you have all the tables, the desks that the children usually sit on, scattered all over because it's still vacation. We met some children, playing on the compound of the school. We asked them, they told us that school is not in session, school is on vacation. So we took the contact of the headmaster. When we called him, and then I introduced myself as somebody who works with, JoyNews. Then the line, went dead. He said, hello, hello, hello. And then the line dropped. We tried calling many times, but he wouldn't, answer our call. And that was the same situation when we tried getting in touch with the suspect also to get his side of the story, because he's denying the allegation. We needed to speak to him at all costs. When we went to the home, to his house, we met his mother-in-law and then some children, about 5 of them. We later got to know from one of the residents that the suspect is actually married with 4 children. And this information we got from one of the residents. So we saw some of these children, on the compound. The mother-in-law told us he was not around. So right there on the compound, we placed a call to the suspect's wife, who we're told was with the suspect at the time. When she answered, we introduced ourselves. We told her that this is what we wanted to do and that we were ready to actually wait for them in the house or come to her location wherever she was to get her side of the story.
But all to no avail.
All to no avail. She said it's not possible for her for us to come to where she is at that point.
Maxwell, I'll have you hold and I'll speak to Chairman of the Gender Committee in Parliament who joins us on the phone, Dr. Kojo Apiakubi. Good afternoon to you, sir. Heartbreaking story there. Are we winning the war against sexual assault?
Good afternoon to all your great listeners. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Pia, you are on the pulse, and I'm asking you whether we are winning the war against sexual assault with some of these things still persistent in our societies.
Well, it's quite unfortunate that the sexual assault, especially on kids, have become so rampant. It's quite unfortunate. But I don't know what to say because it's becoming very, very rampant these days, sexual assault, especially on kids. It's becoming one too many. And I hope that probably we need to lead the situation in the back. I don't know how we can do that. It's quite unfortunate.
Well, there are calls and suggestions for tighter legislation to deal with this matter once and for all. I mean, what do you say about that?
Well, I would support that. I would support that we need to also implement just get legislation that could probably meet most of these things in the bud. Because my committee, for instance, has recently investigated about 3 such sexual assault cases. But unfortunately, they all end up not being prosecuted in favor of the victim. The perpetrators, the alleged perpetrators, are made to go scot-free due to lack of evidence. So the legislation, there needs to be a new legislation, probably, to stiffen punishment. That would be one, and to probably lessen the burden of proof. Probably can turn around the burden of proof onto the victim. He will have to prove whether what the victim is saying is not the truth. But right now, it's the victim who needs to prove beyond reasonable doubt about the veracity of that allegation. In most other countries, for instance, any relationship between a teacher and a student, irrespective of age of the student, is seen as illegal. And they have used that legislation to reduce such incidents considerably. But I believe that we could learn a lot from these countries like Germany, for instance, where even marriage between students and teachers are seen somehow as relationship under duress. We could also learn from them because it's becoming too many these days that kids are sexually assaulted, and in the long run, nothing happens. We all remember the situation, the Jusu incident. We remember Asimfusu incident where a kid was also molested, assaulted, and most of these incidents do not end in actual prosecution.
Now, you admit that we really need to tighten our legislation, but as a legislator, what is your role in championing this cause? Well,
I am the chairperson for the Gender Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection.
Right.
We have been championing for this punishment, but as you are aware, Parliament or legislators can't initiate bills, cannot initiate laws. Everything will have to be come from the institution. That is what we're trying to change, so as to enable us facilitate the legislators to present, initiate amendments to bills and amendments to existing laws. This one, for instance, is in touch with the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection to amend some of the Children's Act, the clause in the Children's Act. We are in the process in discussion with the ministry, and we believe that the police will have to also be of much help, because very often investigations go on endlessly, and by the time they end up in court, the victim might have probably forgotten a lot of things. So the alleged perpetrators are made to go free.
It's a very sad situation there, Dr. Apiakobi. What assistance can the Gender Committee of Parliament give to this child who is at home and unable to care for her medical expenses?
That is always a problem. You know that Parliament itself is not an implementer of laws or does not execute programs of the government. Very often what we do is to find agencies which can also be of help to these people. Very often the Speaker of Parliament also makes rulings that will bind the government, the hands of the government, to also be of assistance to these alleged victims. For instance, the Speaker of Parliament last time recommended some form of compensation to certain victims. But whether the government did go ahead to do that, we cannot tell. We cannot enforce it ourselves. It's the government which needs to enforce its own regulations.
But have you made follow-ups?
We've not been able to make follow-ups. It's not quite long ago. Probably when we reopen, we resume sitting, we may have to make follow-ups. But very often, you see, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, has a very small budget, and it will also tell you we are handicapped. We do not have sufficient resources to undertake most of these things or to be of assistance to most of these kids alleged victims. You know that even children's homes, shelters and other things, the ministry does not have a lot of these things and rely on NGOs and other institutions to provide that assistance. We are in talks with the ministry to probably have a budget line which will pick up for such eventuality. But it will also complain, our results are woefully inadequate to do all these things. So very often the alleged victims are left to their own fate.
But this issue of having scanty resources for the gender ministry has come to Parliament. What have you done about it?
Oh, we've done quite a lot. We pleaded on behalf of the ministry for an increase in its vote. But as you are aware, Parliament cannot increase budgetary allocations presented to Parliament for enactment. No, we cannot increase it. We can only vary.
Have you invited the finance minister to explain why?
We invited always during budget discussions, during budget appropriation bill passage. We always invite the Ministry of Finance to see how to high with some of the issues that border on children, that border on social protection, especially on crime against humanity, crime against women, crime against children. But it will also complain the total resources of the nation to pick up for everything of the nation is inadequate, and it's not all that big, and will have to be shared adequately among all of us. So that is what is in the kitchen, and what can we do? What can we also do?
Dr. Apiakubi, interestingly, you made the point that some of these issues, the police take up the issue and you really don't see the end of the matter. But I know as Parliament, you have the power to summon the IGP if you feel it's not doing, the police is not doing its job well. Why haven't you done that?
Oh, you've done that. You've done that very often. Quite recently, there were some kids who were taken away from the Ija and Dwarf Islands, what people call the overseas islands, from their parents. They were said to be engaged in child trafficking. And we invited the IGP, a representative, a high representative from the IGP's office was present with some of his staff members. And we wrote a report for the speaker. We've been doing that. We've been doing quite a few things, and we intercede on behalf of the alleged victims. That's most of these. Is it
a case of one-off invites and then you just go to sleep, or I mean, is it that you don't monitor and ensure that the right thing is done?
I would say we could do more. We could do more, but I am actually aware we are responsible for gender, and gender represents both sexes. Children in social protection, and that comprises a whole spectrum of issues. And day in, day out, alleged victims present their cases, and we try to work, assist them on the quiet. We try to assist them privately without making a lot of noise about such issues. But I would say that we could do more than what we so far been doing.
All right, we'll be looking forward to the Committee of Parliament in charge of gender social protection to do more in the bits of curbing sexual abuse in our community. Dr. Kojo Apiakubi is a chairman for Parliament's Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection. Maxwell Agbagba is still with me in the studio. If I heard you right, it means that no arrest has yet been made. But has DOFSU interrogated anybody apart from the family of the victim?
Well, arrests, they started interrogations, and the domestic violence and victim support units, they actually, when a matter was reported to them, they arrested the suspect, and he was later granted bail. Okay. They've been to court. The second time they were in court was yesterday. Case has been adjourned to September 12. And we understand that other people are also being interrogated so they can get to the bottom of this matter. And at the time that the incident happened, in the girl's narration, she said her sister was actually outside when the incident happened. So when she fell off the table and her pelvic bone hit one of the tables there, she got up. She quickly ran with her younger sister. They rushed back home. So some of the people who were around at the time, within that area around that time, would also be key, in helping to, establish the truth of this case, Aisha.
What are other teachers in this school? How do they feel about this incident?
Well,
or you've not had the chance to speak with them?
School is on vacation, it was difficult trying to, get them to actually speak to the issue. It wasn't that regular school was in session. This one was just extra classes.
But people around the school?
Exactly. The information we have from the narration of the girl, she showed up late for the extra classes. So that was the point the teacher offered to teach her after all the children in the school, so that she can catch up. So she agreed to that. In fact, from a narration, she said when they entered one of the classrooms, specifically the KG2 class, there were some children writing there and all of that. The teacher sacked them.
All of them.
When she alerted, she said, "Oh, one of them is my friend. Let her stay." While
he disagreed.
He disagreed and sacked the other girl also.
But is it the first time this is happening in that school?
We will not be able to tell whether this is the first time this is happening in the school. But when we asked the girl, she said this is the first time her class teacher actually did that to her.
Well, many thanks to you. Maxwell Agbagba is our man on the beat. He will still be following up. I'll bring you last-minute update on this matter.